good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with Rick or Ricardo Valdez. I think you go by Rick though, right?
Yeah, Rick and
Rick.
Ricardo both were fine.
All right, all right. Well, Rick is the founder of UTMStack. Welcome, Rick. How's your day going so far?
Hey, thank you, Scott. They going great. These days, almost at the end of the year, are always beautiful, with all the Christmas decorations everywhere. And the weather is great, at least here in Florida. It's a permanent summer, so getting some fresh air is always good.
Yeah, I'm not too far away from you. I'm in South Carolina, so just up 2 states, and we have the same kind of weather for the most part. But I don't know, Florida's a little bit warmer, so but we do have the Christmas decorations as well. So I am glad that is behind me. We had decorations put up probably well, we did it the day after Thanksgiving. So, how about you? When you and your family put up Christmas decorations?
We're actually working on that now. I'm not
Okay.
too concerned about putting the decorations, but about removing them. That's when things get complicated,
Yep. Probably got to
especially from the
strategically do that.
trees.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So, do you have lights all over your home and in the trees and the yard and everything, or just inside?
yeah. Some of the trees have lights and outside of the house, but trees are always a little bit complicated because time goes by, the lights start getting entangled between
That's right.
the trees, and it gets complicated to remove later. But that's another story. Let's focus on the beautiful part of Christmas, which is the lights.
Yep. Absolutely.
The
Well, I
good
still
purpose.
I still enjoy getting in the car and going and seeing all the lights too. It's very nice. So, well, other than Christmas, I think we are here to talk about one, how to get more clients with an open source sock. Is that right?
Well, yes. More than an open source SOC is a SOC powered by open source technologies.
Okay.
There are several aspects to a security operations center. You need staffing, you need people, but technology is one of the most expensive parts. So being able to launch a service like this can be both very profitable and at the same time costly if you don't use the right technologies.
Well, before we dive into the open source sock, how tell me about UTM Stack for the audience members who are not familiar with your company.
Well, for sure. Actually, I prepare a very small presentation here to
Yeah.
kind of give a quick overview. I'm not a
Okay.
fan of PowerPoint presentations, but I think in this case, it's one of the quickest ways to get there. So we're a company committed to open source. Everything we do, or mostly everything we do, is open source. We're a team of engineers with focus on technology for MSPs and MSSPs. Everything we do, the ecosystem of products, is all cybersecurity in the threat intelligence, that web, SIEM, and XDR uh, space. We're trusted by several institutions, especially in the financial and healthcare industry. MSPs that mainly work with these institutions are our focus and preferred type of customers. And well, we're also the company behind other open source solutions, not only UTMStack, but Cron Data, System Test, DBA, SBC. These are all open source solutions that are widely used for IT management in general. We're members of the Linux Foundation, so that's kind of showing our commitment to open source and to kind of empowering MSPs that are getting started with the tools needed to launch their own security operations center to become MSSPs without having to get into a huge investment, which is usually the biggest barrier we see in the technology landscape. Getting a SIEM or getting an XDR initially, sometimes the cost of the technology itself is higher than the value of the contract until you get to certain volume, and that's when technology becomes more cost effective. But initially, the cost seems is usually prohibitive. So that's the main reason for our commitment. So that's a little bit about UTMStack. This next slide is kind of a little bit more of the challenge that we see, that that customers are facing, and this is why MSPs decide to adventure into the cybersecurity space, especially to security operation, have a great opportunity right now. About 30,000 IT systems are hacked every day. Now that you don't see that on the news. What you see in the news is the big hacks, you know, the pipeline here in Florida that got a ransomware attack. That type of big data breaches are the ones that get to the news, but there are a lot of small customers that get hacked every day, and cybersecurity is something that everybody needs. So
Sure.
it is a huge opportunity for horizontal scale here. So if you already have some customers that you're managing IT for them, why not expand your services, you know? Say, hey, I also have this security operations center service that I can provide to you. And that's usually a good way to close new deals. Who doesn't need cybersecurity these days? Everyone needs some sort of cybersecurity. And
So
with the
that
option,
sounds very complicated, though. Like building your own SOC. Like typically, you know, the security operations center is an outsourced model. So God, that I don't know. I'm very intrigued because it just seems like that's I don't know. I'm going to let you keep going because I want to learn all about it.
well, you're right. And the main reason why security operations centers tend to be complicated are two reasons. Number one, staffing, getting the right people to run your security operations center could be complicated. It's a very specialized knowledge. And we tackled that challenge. The next slide, we're going to explain how we tackled the challenge of skills. The second part that makes it a lot more complicated is technology. If you go out there right now and try to find a SIEM to do a security operations center, you will see a ton of SIEMs options. You will see, I'm not gonna name vendors because I don't think that's good that's not ethically, professionally ethical, but most of the SIEM systems you see out there are built on OpenSearch or Elasticsearch. They don't do correlation in real time. They're just querying Elasticsearch or OpenSearch to do correlation. That's not a real SIEM. So that's one of the major problems we see out there. SIEMs that just use OSSEC or WASU or any of these open source technologies, they put it with an Elasticsearch engine, and then you get 1,000 alerts per minute. You know, a user logs in, you get an alert. A user logs out, you get an alert. That's not a SIEM. That's the major issue that makes security operations centers complicated, is the use of tools that are not designed to be a SIEM, tools that have very specific purposes that are put together to create a SIEM for a security operations center. That's the second component that we see, is not using a real SIEM for a SOC, but using a combination of tools that make up something similar to a SIEM. Okay. So these are the two major factors that make it difficult. I'm going to explain now how we tackle those two challenges. So this is just a little bit about what UTMStack does, but I'm going to skip this. If you want to learn more about everything that is included in UTMStack, that's the website. So just going to skip this. So the first challenge, Scott, that you mentioned, that I mentioned actually in response to your question, is knowledge. So how do we tackle the knowledge issues? Well, hopefully we have really good AIs nowadays. Now, these AIs are kind of generic. Honestly, I'm not a fan of trusting AI for mission critical workloads. SIEMs are not the exception. So what is this for? So UTMStack has implemented a security analyst AI that analyzes the alerts for you and kind of gives you a security rating and says, hey, I think this is a false positive. I think this is a possible incident. And based on that, it gives you also a summary of why it thinks it's a possible incident or a possible false positive. And of course, it learns from your infrastructure. This helps a lot. Security analysts that are just getting started, that maybe don't have all the knowledge to do a deep analysis, this helps them a lot. And it also reduces alert fatigue quite a bit. So
cut down on all the noise.
I'm sorry, say again?
No, I was going to say it obviously cuts down on all the noise.
Yeah, it cuts down a lot of noise. That's number one. And number two, also provides a lot of contextual information to security analysts. Maybe they don't know what are the latest attack vectors related to a specific IOC or a specific type of threat. it provides all that information right out of the box. So when it comes to, helping with that knowledge gap, AI is a big component for UTMStack. And well, the second part is, let me go back to this slide here as well. UTMStack is created from the ground up to be a SIEM. This is not a reused OpenSearch or Elasticsearch or open source tool put together with something else to make a SIEM. No, this is a real SIEM built from the ground up to be just that, a SIEM. You will see everything you click will take you to an instance, to an actionable item. It's very intuitive. Let's see if I could probably share here how it looks like, but everything is interactive. Any visualization you click will take you to the data you are seeing, to an alert or to an event that you're going to be exploring. And there is no weird back and forth with components that are not necessarily related to your system. You could even customize the dashboards and create your own. So those are the two main ways we tackle the challenge of getting started with your own SOC without all the complexity and without the high cost.
Very nice. And I see that was a cloud GUI for the UTMStack that you had.
Oh yeah, this is our demo environment.
Okay.
It can be accessed from the website. If you visit the UTMStack.com website, you will see a link to this demo online, where you can come here and play around with it and see everything that you can do. Or you could even execute some incident response commands to test it out and see how the system reacts, and everything that you can do with it.
And how much is UTMStack for an MSP?
Well, it is free and it is open source.
Okay.
Let me see if I can check here. I'm trying to see if I could open the pricing page. Let me, 1 minute.
If it's free, that leads me to my next question. How does UTMStack make money?
Well, we make money on enterprise support, number one, and number two on SaaS. So we have a SaaS offering. If usually enterprises or MSPs that want to get to a bigger scale with this solution, they are going to want to avoid having to handle updates, upgrades, all of that. So we have a SaaS offering that is fully managed. No need for the MSP to worry about anything, and we just provide them the instance ready to be used. And of course, another offering for enterprise support. There are a few other enhancements also to the enterprise version. The features are all the same, but of course we provide things like more real-time threat intelligence feed and an enterprise support, of course, for the enterprise feature. But everything else is the same. We don't put any caps on the amount of data sources or log retention or anything. The free and open source edition is designed so you can hit the ground up and running, zero cost. And once you get serious and you get to about, I don't know, 10 or 15 customers, you will probably reach out to us for that enterprise support.
Gotcha.
One thing that I'd like to see here, let me see if I can show you how the SOC AI looks like. We discussed before how it can help you investigate incidents. This is basically how it looks. But let's say you got a connection from a blacklisted IP or something.
Okay.
This is how the artificial intelligence helps investigation. So it's a good way to get started really quick with security operations. Now, when it comes to unique economics, security operations are very, very good subscription model. There is an article here published. I'm going to paste the link in the chat that goes over the steps to launching your own security operations center and also provides like templates for legal resources and things that you can use to get started.
Okay, very cool.
Just paste it in the chat.
All right. I will put this in the notes as well. Let's see. I'll put that as a comment for those members watching live, we can put that in. Let's see. All right. Perfect. Well,
Okay.
Rick, did you want to tell us anything else or about UTMStack? Anything else you want to share?
Um, well, actually, I think we covered pretty much everything. We went through really fast here. Um, I'm not a fan of long presentations. I
Okay.
understand everyone's time is valuable. If there are any questions from the audience, we are open to hear them now. As a nutshell, I would say UTMStack at the beginning, we had a services contract back in 2016, if I remember. And back in 2016 is when we entered the cybersecurity industry. It was hard to find tools, to provide security operations center. So that's basically how we were born and how UTMStack was created. So we definitely feel the pain of many MSPs and cybersecurity services providers that are trying to enter the cybersecurity industry, and the cost of SIEMs, especially, and XDRs are prohibitive sometimes. So we're here to help. And yeah, I'll pass it over if there are any questions.
Yep. So I don't have any questions just yet, but I did want to ask you a question, Rick. So if we've got some members watching this live stream and they are interested in engaging you and your company to help them get started with building the secure SOC, open source SOC, what is the best way that they can do that?
I would say through the contact form.
Okay.
We have a few POC engagement options that will allow you to get the help of our teams to build your own SOC.
Okay.
We have free and paid engagements depending on the scope, and we have also like 30 days POCs and things so that the community can try it out. But the best way is the UTMStack website. Reach out through the contact form, or just reach out to my email directly. I'm actually going to leave it here in the chat, and I'll be happy to help.
Awesome. Let me copy this email address over, put it in notes, and that's awesome. Well, Rick, thank you so much. Send me some pictures of the Christmas decorations. I want to see them.
I will. So, I'll be expecting your pictures as well, Scott.
Awesome. Well, mine
You
are on
have any, let me
Facebook.
know.
Yep, I've already I'll send you definitely some pictures. So awesome. Well, Rick, listen, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day today and have this live stream event with us here in ITBOG. And I will schedule another one with you coming up soon in the next month or two. All right.
All right, sounds great.
Good.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. See you, Rick.
Likewise.
Bye.